All right, you better be ready to work. I'm back. So look, now that you have your top finished, you've played around with how to hem, you know how to put your front and your back pattern together, we are going to take it to the next level, because today what I'm going to teach you is how to manipulate patterns. You can do so much with the front and the back pattern. So now that you've made just a plain shirt, I'm going to teach you how to make the next thing we're going to do is an elongated tank top. All right, so that's what we're going to do next. You need your front and your back pattern. We're not going to cut that, but what I do need you to do is trace it. So I had the bright idea to hang my patterns up on the wall, you guys, and I have muslin back here. So you see the type of things that I do for my students. So I have the back pattern here and I have the front pattern here. So let's start with the front. So the very first thing, well, we can start with the back, because the very first thing that we're going to do is just trace both of our patterns. So on your muslin, now keep in mind, whenever you're manipulating a pattern, you don't ever want to cut your original. You need to keep your original, all right? Keep your original intact. And if you ever think of a new idea or something, just trace your pattern. Don't cut it. Don't cut it. Don't cut it. Trace it. Every time you want to do something new, we're just going to trace it and then do whatever we're going to do on the new tracing. So I'm literally just all right. So I have that traced. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my original patterns off. All right, we're going to keep those in a nice, safe place, because we're going to need these for so many other lessons. You don't have to do it up on the wall. You can do it up, laying on the floor on something hard, on a kitchen table, something like that. I just wanted this for camera purposes, all right? All right, so we have our front and back trace. All right, so what I want to teach you, let me get a different color marker so that y'all can see exactly what I'm doing. All right, is this going to work? Really can't see that, right? All right, that red one works just fine, doesn't it? All right, so very first thing that we're going to do for me, now if you go off of how your original front and back pattern fit when you put together your simple top, for me, my tank top, I want the neck to come a little bit lower. So with my front pattern, measuring tape, you guys, always have your measuring tape handy. So I want mine to go, here's my front neck, so this is where the curve is. I'll take mine about 6 inches down. So here's the front neck, 6 inches down. So I'm going to put my curve in here. Okay, so I went down about 6 inches. Another thing, I don't want my shoulder to be as long. I only want it to be a couple inches. Well, let's do about 3 inches. So I'm going to make my mark at 3. And I'm going to just take this curve. I'm going to keep the underarm, all right? You don't want to mess with the underarm. I'm just going to take that and curve it in there like that. Now, of course, you can take a curved ruler. If you have one, you can, take a measuring tape, get your measurements right. I have this curved ruler, so I can literally just kind of go in here, fix it. Get that pattern exactly right. All right, same thing over here. Okay, that's how it really should look. All right, so I just straightened that up. Then what I want to do, I want to make my top longer. If you notice with the original top, you guys, that was not a pattern for a crop top. But you have to keep in mind that your waist is above your belly button. So that's why it was a little bit short. I did not mess up on the pattern. That's where your waist is, which is why I said in that video, if you wanted to make it longer, see where you want to make it and add those inches onto the bottom. So I'm going to do that with this one. I'm going to add, so if my tank top is about here, I want it to go about, not to my knee, but past my crotch. I want it about, I'm going to go with about 20 inches. So from where I want it to here, I'm at about 20 inches. So now I'm going to take my yardstick. We're still on the front of the pad. I mean the center front. And I made a little mark at 20. Line that up. Okay. So I have my 20 inches here. Another thing I want to do is I want to add a curve. So I want it to be kind of rounded in the front, and I want it to go up and then round again in the back. All right. So the way that you do that, again, for one, we need to bring this down a little bit. So we have to bring this down as well. And keep in mind, this is at a little angle, because it was where your waist was actually coming in. Then what you're going to do is you're going to, I'm going to just take my curved ruler because I want it curved and I want it, so it's going to be up higher on the sides, okay? Up higher on the sides, and it's going to curve like that in the front. So keep in mind, this is only half of your front pattern. Only half. So this is going to be a full curve in the front. It's going to go up on the sides, have a little, kind of part there, and then curve back out on the back. So the front pattern is done. Okay? You need to cut out the new pattern. So now you see why we trace the original. You don't want to just cut that. All right? So I'm going to do the same thing here. But this is the back. My back isn't going to have a huge indentation unless I want it to. And I actually do want it to have somewhat of an indentation, but I don't want it to be a full, maybe I do want it to be a full 6 inches. I just thought about it. So I'm going to do the same thing. 6 inches. I'm going to make my mark at 6 inches. Then I'm going to take my ruler. And I'm just going to kind of curve that out. Okay. Same. Then, you know, the shoulders have to be the same. So if I did 3 inches for my shoulder there, I'm going to do 3 inches for my shoulder here. And again, I'm going to curve it straight into that armhole. So since we're not going to mess with the armhole, I'm putting my curve right in there and just lining up this part of the ruler. Now, if you don't have a curved ruler, because I know I did not put that on your supply list, you know you can improv, all right? Find something curved at home and just you know, do your curves that way. So it's no big deal if you don't have a curved ruler, but you can find them at like your fabric store, local fabric store. You should also be able to find them at like Walmart. All right, so I went down that same 20 inches that I did here. I went down 20 inches here. Okay, so this is my center back. So I'm literally doing almost the same design. Side seams it's going to come up higher, okay? So the same exact thing. That's what I'm doing. You got to lengthen this first. Make sure everything is good and straight. All right, you guys, pattern has been corrected. This is exactly how I want my tank top. So now we're going to cut it out. And some of you guys probably can't see the vision yet, but just roll with me, all right? Uh-oh, kind of messed that up a little bit. I'll just curve that up myself. All right, so this is my back, and make my way over to the front. It can be a little bit confusing, you know, trying to determine what is what, but that's why I had you guys to label when we originally made the pattern. You want to label so that you do have an idea where the arm is, where the center front is, where, you know, the side seams are, and then it wouldn't be so hard to envision this, okay? All right, front is done. All right, so this is what half of it is going to look like. Does that make sense now? Curve in there under the arm, side seam. It's going to come up higher on the side, curve in, go back out on the back. So hopefully this makes sense. I'm going to go ahead, lay this on my fabric. All right, you guys, so just like the first video, you want to lay your pattern down. You want to go around the entire pattern and add 1 inch. You see where my dots fall? 1 inch all the way around, and I just put dots. Keep in mind, you are not going to use a regular marker. I'm literally using a regular marker, but you need to use a fabric marker. Keep in mind, this is my real fabric. All right, you're putting the right sides together. You see, this is the right side. This is what my tank top is going to look like. Really, really pretty. But if you notice, this is the wrong side. So if you have a pattern or anything, it should be on the inside of the fold, and your fold should be over here. I also had a quick correction for you. This part on the center front is not supposed to curve up, okay? The center front is literally supposed to, so see, we can correct that on our real fabric. I just got tongue tied. On our real fabric. So just bring that little dotted line in, then you're going to go up into the curve. So I had a quick error right there that I had to correct. All right, so 1 inch all the way around the entire thing, and then we're going to cut this out. You want to do this for your front and your back. I hope that y'all are excited about this, because I am excited about this. So you should have your side seams pinned. You should have your shoulders pinned. All right, and your curve should be left alone. All right, I'm super, super excited. So go ahead and sew your side seams as well as your shoulders, and then go ahead and hem the bottom of your top, hem the sleeves. Keep in mind you're going in 1 inch, and then also we're going to hem this, but I'm going to actually show you how to go down into this curve, because that's going to be a new one for you. So go ahead, sew this, hem here. Keep in mind you're going in 1 inch on both sides of your sleeve, so that don't forget to back stitch when you start a stitch and when you stop it. All right, you guys, so after sewing and hemming, you should be almost finished. You see my hem, everything came out really, really nice so far. A couple of things that I wanted to point out. If you notice, once you get up to the curve, all right, when you get up to this point, it gets instantly a little bit thinner in order for you to go into that curve. That is completely fine. It's going to be the exact same up here on the top. So I have this pinned. You can see where I'm getting ready to hem, and where the V is in here, what you're going to do, you're going to start up here at the shoulder, back stitch, go all the way down, and when you make it to this V, you're going to put your needle down, okay? Lift your foot up, turn it just slightly, and then go up this way. All right, so I'm going to try and record that so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so let me get this thing in position. All right, so back stitch. Oh, I got my needles inside out. Put my needles in wrong. Oh, there we go. All right, so we're almost down to this V. All right, so as we approach, slow down, and once you make it to the V, needle down, so your needle is down, foot up, and you're just going to turn. See, I'm not all the way in there. I need to go a little bit more. There we go. All right, again, needle down, foot up. Shift your fabric just like this. Put back down. And then you're going, all right, and do that all the way. Do that on the front and on the back from one shoulder to the other.